Hello. It's going pretty good, actually. Just over the past few weeks now, I've asked Grok, that's the artificial intelligence or whatever on X, Twitter, whatever. I'm talking for people that will watch this video after this is not live anymore. So if you go on X, formerly Twitter, there's a artificial intelligence little helper called Grok, Grok. And compared to Google, Grok allows me to upload photos. Now, when you pay extra for Grok, you can upload as many photos as you want and have unlimited access. But without paying, you're only allowed a few photos and 18 questions. See, I'm giving you all the special info here. Hold on a second. Okay, now there is a workaround. There is a workaround to the limitations that the Grok has, right? So when you go on X, formerly Twitter, and you look at that kind of circle with a line through it, looks like Saturn or whatever. It's like a Saturn icon, like similarly to the car company. Like if you look at Saturn, the car company's logo, kind of looks like he took it. But regardless, so you go to the artificial intelligence that's on Twitter, X, and that's way better than the Google artificial intelligence. Now, there's rumors that Google has more power, but between you and me, I think Google's keeping it for themselves. Whereas X is certainly allowing a lot more AI freedom in their responses. Now, is it still, a little biased? Yeah, because it's programmed when? Now, when everyone's biased about everything. So it still has some work to do, but in my opinion, it's far better than Google's casual intelligence. So just to summarize, and then we'll go on to the next part. If you go on X, there's a little Saturn looking icon, and you click on that, and you can basically upload pictures of stuff and ask stuff. Like you could take a picture of a flower and ask what kind of flower this is. Now, we're going to, over the next few minutes, talk about how I've mastered this. Well, mastered is strong. How I've excelled, and I'm getting way, way better by letting AI just essentially control my entire life. Now, once again, I do want to say that there are two kinds of Grok. That's the AI on X. And what do I mean by there are two kinds? Well, if you go on X, the app, right, it'll give you that Grok to ask 18 questions to if you're not paying for the premium. However, there's also in the Play Store or in your App Store there's an entire extra Grok. So it's like you've got your X app, and then even though Grok's already in that and allows you to ask 18 questions to, which will change your life if you ask the right questions, then you can go on to Grok app and have 18 more questions. So that, I mean, that just doubles your productivity. And believe me, there's going to be a bunch of times when you're first starting out this where you're going to ask a stupid amount of questions and you're going to run out of questions. And then you're going to have to wait until the next day to really think about the right kind of questions to ask. Okay, now we're going to get into some more detailed stuff. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do when you're using Grok or this AI is you want to figure out life around you. I'm going to say that that was my novice take on this incredible intelligence. What did I use it for? A total waste. I asked it questions about Trump. I asked it questions about, history. And yeah, that's not really what you want to use it for, right? What you want to use it for, however, is your personal life. Like where I went next was my finances. I said extremely personally, I'm like, here's exactly how much money I've got. Here's how much debt I've got. Here's the stuff that I'm paying for. Here's the stuff I'm interested in. Like I spent multiple days on one single thread, giving it as much financial information about me, including like my past financial mistakes. Like here's some financial mistakes I've done, because I needed it to know as much as possible, right, to give the best possible solution. And what did it say? Well, like many of you, with common sense. But remember, not all of us have common sense, which is why I've changed my mind on a lot of us resisting this kind of, let's call it brain chip coming. And people like me are stupid. Now, am I really stupid? Thank God I'm not, because I can hold a casual conversation with people. But when it comes to common sense, a lot of people and me don't have it. So things like getting in debt and then paying it off. You must be retarded, like I am, to get into debt and then just kind of be casual about it. And of course, smart people, like smart friends that I have, not in debt, or able to immediately manage and pay off the debt they have, because before they got into the debt, they kind of knew their finances. Wow, what do you know? But idiots like me just need AI to do all that. So now we're going to get into, like I said, it's help to me. So recently it's through telling me kind of how to pay off the debt, right, to keep a certain amount of money so that I wouldn't feel too depleted. And see, I'm not saying that I couldn't have come up with these answers on my own. Of course I could. It may have taken a little bit longer, but also what comes with a lot of decision making on your own when you have no, that's about to go down the wrong road, don't have a lot of friends to talk to and don't have a lot of family to talk to, you have a lot more hesitancy on your decisions. You're like, I don't know if this is the right idea. I mean, some people say it is. I mean, you're just still kind of uneasy about some of these decisions. And what this is doing is it's really doing like, hey, here's what I feel, here's what's going on, here's what my friends say. And, there's been a couple of times where it says, hey, you should probably look a little out more for yourself in this situation. I mean, it doesn't say that in every situation, but it's like, maybe your friends, it's still your happiness at the end of the day. So we'll get into that in a few minutes on sometimes whether your happiness is more important than the people around you. You know, of course it's easy to say that your happiness is important. Well, that's because you're probably not needing any money from anyone. When you need money from people, well, you're a little bit more concerned about what they have to say. You know, you can ignore people when you don't need any money. So let's get back to the point. So AI and how it's helped me double my money. So let's get into something extremely specific when it comes to my finances. And I'm going to just continue ignoring chat because I feel like my brain is on a roll right now. All right, so I started asking it like, hey, you know, I've got this job. And about a few weeks ago, I had a job opportunity that would take away from this job. And I asked it about it, and it said, you know, it's probably not going to work out, you know, and it gave a multitude of reasons, you know. So that really weighed a lot on me. And then, of course, when the employer reached out again and said that they couldn't give me the money that they originally said that they were going to give me, that just was like the nail in the coffin right there. I was like, okay, I feel a lot more firm in my decision of not taking that job and keeping this job. Well, after that kind of scenario was figured out and that I wasn't going to use whatever extra free time after this job I had, because the only reason why I took this job, just a minute. The only reason why I took this job was because all other jobs, and I mean 99% of jobs on the market right now, want you to work 8 hours minimum. Now, some of you will be like, what are you, lazy or something? Yeah, well, whatever the fuck you want to think I am, I don't want to work 8 hours, okay? I'm fucking exhausted after working an 8-hour shift. And so I found a job where I could only work 5, 6, I mean, shit, maybe 7 hours if I felt like it, you know? But they gave me that option, right? Minimum 5, but I could do more. And so, shit, a lot of the days I really do only work 5. And that saves me some energy to, you know, go do some other stuff. Now, other people, they'll work those 8 hours. And then they're fucking exhausted. And yeah, they made maybe $30, $40 than I did. But you know what? Sure, I only made 50, 60 bucks in my 5 hours of work, 60 bucks. And you probably made 100 in your 8-hour shift. Well, fuck you, I don't care. That amount of money isn't worth it to me. And I've said this, I'm getting older now. Like, you don't get it. Like, this isn't me in my 20s where maybe you can work 8 to 10 hours every day and you're cool. And you can even go out with your friends when you're in your 20s. When you're in your 20s, you can do that. But see, the thing is that life, you're probably going to want a job where you're going to need to do it for 20 years. You know what I mean? You're going to probably need a job that you need to do for 20 years. And the problem with a 20-year job is that the first 10 years in your 20s, you can do it. And then when you're in your 30s, you can't do it. And people think that's a fucking joke, but it's not. When you hit 30 years old, something magical happens. Something very bad happens when you hit 30 years old. Something bad happens to women. Something bad happens to men. It's like age hits you, right? It's like you never really feel old, and you even want to feel old. Like, I swear, when I was 18 years old, I was like shaving my bare face because I had no facial hair, trying to, like, maybe if I shave it, I'll grow hair. You know what I mean? Like, so desperate to feel old. And now that you are 30, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck was I wishing for? I don't want this. Every day I wake up tired. Where when you're in your 20s, it feels like you can go 48 hours and you're never tired. So I just want everybody listening to understand this about life. As I'm getting older and I've been streaming for basically 20 years on multiple channels, You've seen me go through so much, so many different jobs, so many different psychology, attitudes, and I'd say your top 3 things most important in life to worry about are you happy, number 1, and if you're not, and you're like doing a job, because job's number 2, that's the bulk of your life right there. So the job, that's going to affect that number 1, that happiness. And there's a shit ton of people out there that are doing jobs that make them unhappy, right? Then number 3 would be, like friends, family, relationships, hobbies. But like those first 2, your happiness and your job, your entire life is going to surround around those 2 things. But let me finish off this video with how AI has helped me with all of those things. And I'll try to keep it a little short. I know I'm rambling. So I started to talk to AI about my job hours, my money, my finances, my debt, and it's pointed out something, because remember, as I said, you can show pictures. So I can take a screenshot of a conversation that I have with someone. And guess what it said? It said I'm unfriendly. That's right. It said my responses, like, hi, what's up, how are you? They're just too short. They're not warm enough. Now, did I ever give a fuck? Well, maybe I should have, because guess what? Now I take the extra 20 seconds to copy and paste what someone says to me, and then I'll copy what someone says to me, I'll paste it in AI, and then I'll ask it what the best response is. Every time it's worked. Like I even had a client that I had been a total asshole to. Someone that felt like 100% chance they never wanted anything to do with me ever again. And I said to AI, I said, hey, what's something I could say to this person and just get them back to liking me? And it worked. Like, I'm telling you, like, if you're like me and you hesitate on a lot of decisions, see, I'm a confident guy, but a lot of that confidence came with, it came with a lot of hidden hesitation. Like, all that confidence was just because it's like, if I don't come into this, with a bunch of if I don't come into this with everything, even though, it may not be the best idea, if I don't give it my all, it's definitely not going to succeed. So it's kind of, previous lifestyle was like, I'm going to give it my all, and this may not be the best idea. And so sometimes you would go all in with the idea, well, I can't half-ass it, or else it's definitely not going to work. But then you go all in on something that wasn't the best thing. So then you're like really deep into something that's not the best idea. And now AI has fine-tuned that out to where I'm not getting involved in anything that it hasn't already thought through. And hey, if you can't, I never really did good in comprehension, right? So I can read things. Of course I can read things. Hey, there are people out there that can't even read. But then it comes to like understanding what it is that you read, right? Now, if it's like a fictional story and I'm like having fun following along in the fictional story, that's great. But if it's like a mathematical, the mathematical questions where they're like, Sally took 30 apples to Robert, and then Robert ate 7, and it's just like, holy shit, my brain just cannot do that stuff. Like, once you start giving me some story and numbers at the same time, man, I'm lost. So, yeah, this just concludes, like I said, that there's a buddy of mine. Actually, he's not a buddy because he stabbed me in the back. But there's a guy that I don't talk to anymore, and he has self-driving in his Tesla, right? So he's letting AI drive for him. And you want to know something? I can't fucking wait for everybody on the road to have a robot driving for them, because you want to know something? You know, I mean, yeah, I love my custom automobiles, but these people can't drive. See, it's kind of like yeah, the freedom of everybody controlling their own vehicle, but then the freedom of everybody controlling their own vehicle. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of stuff where AI just, I don't know, for safety purposes and because we're just so damn dumb. Like, look, we're losing. I'll speak for myself. I was losing a lot of money. I was going into debt. I was buying stupid stuff. I mean, think about this. Like, there are times where you'll buy something online and it actually isn't what you want. And that's like happening. And now I have to ask AI, hey, is this actually better than the product I have right now? Because I also have another psychological problem of FOMO. Oh my God, do I have FOMO so bad? I have FOMO on everything. You know, if a fucking, I don't know, if anything fucking happens, I feel like I'm missing out on it. It pisses me off. And so, like, if a new gaming monitor comes out, like, I'm not even able to use, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? I can't even drive the what would my dad say? You know, you can't even drive that Lamborghini at the full speed. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm missing out on having one. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people, including me, that you're going to see over the next decade just completely give in to letting AI control their life. Just a few years ago, I was like, hell no, I don't want AI making any decisions for me. But then it's like, oh my God, I'm retarded. So that's just been kind of on my mind literally for a whole month now, that I've accepted that I am not like above average intelligence, and that I am doing way better with AI. Like this, the past 2 weeks, I've made an extra $1,000. I would have never done that, and never did. I never